Hello everyone, so today we have a Thanos Lockjaw rotation deck. So I've covered a couple of control versions, a destroy version of Thanos, but Lockjaw rotation Thanos is something that fell off very hard with the Lockjaw nerf and with the changes to Thanos. And so it's exciting to have one that performs pretty well, come back into the meta, come back into the game, and I think this one is going to do a phenomenal job of that. Now, a couple of the cards that I get a lot of common questions about replacements for, one would be Jeff. Jeff is going to be fantastic in decks that want to use Professor X, they want to control the board state, and in this one in particular, it's going to be good if you happen to rotate into it with your Lockjaw, you can move that card out and then rotate an additional card. But as far as replacements go, you could go with another low-cost card, that way you have another tool to rotate, but honestly I would go with something a little bit higher end, maybe something like a Spider-Man, so that if you flip into it you can lock the opponent out of that location for that following turn. You could even go something like Daredevil as a replacement so that you can position a potential Professor X. That one I would say is probably not as beneficial as like a Spider-Man, but it's a possible play. As far as the Iron Lad goes, I'd say he has a really unique ability in being able to dig deeper into your deck and hit some of those higher roll cards more consistently. So even if he pulls into a stone, that's going to generate some additional draw. And then when you play that stone again later, it's going to generate more draw. And then you don't quite get the same benefit from something like Jubilee. So for Iron Lad, that's a little bit tougher to replace, but I would say another high-end card. So maybe something like a Shang-Chi so that you can try to counter their big plays, or something like a Vision. That way if you flip into it, similar to Jeff, if you flip into it, you can move it out later and you have some potential reach into those harder to reach locations. And so we're going to go ahead and jump straight into a gold Conquest run, see if we're able to take the I named it Thanos Control, but it's much more a Thanos Lockjaw rotation. It's more of a high roll Thanos build with a slight hint of control with the Professor X, and then the surprise element of the Claw to get some additional reach into that locked down Professor X location if you need to. And so we're gonna go ahead and jump straight in. Thank you guys as always for being here. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, first up we have Matt, and in our opening hand we do have a couple of stones which are really good. We have the Mind Stone, which is beautiful. The only bad thing is Central Park takes up a lot of our real estate, and we need a lot of that board space. But with the Mind Stone, we're still in a pretty confident spot. I almost, in going into the blind with a Mind Stone on turn one, I almost always like to snap, but I'm going to play it a little bit more cautiously this time around. I want to gather some additional information. So we have all of our stones except for Soul Stone right now. We could do Power Stone. That's only going to affect 6 cost cards. I think they probably have a Heimdall, seeing the Iron Fist, but not really anything else. It could help us drop our Onslaught a bit easier. We can go ahead and play both draw generating cards here to get benefit. So we're actually going to do Reality Stone and Space Stone. We will draw into 2 cards. Next turn, we will draw into our final card, and so we'll have to play something like Power Stone or Jeff to get room to draw again after that. So they do go ahead and move their dagger. Unfortunately for us, that is a big thing to deal with. We do have Luke Cage, which is going to help us in Quantum Realm quite a bit. But outside of that, let's do our Time Stone. And we're going to do Luke Cage into the Strange Academy. That will make sure we can draw one more card after this. We're looking for Professor X. If we don't get Professor X, maybe we do something like a Blue Marvel into it later in Onslaught. Professor X in this match is going to be very important, and some versions of this do drop like a Chavez for a Cosmo, just to have that counter tool, but we are going to need all of the lockdown we can get from these move cards. We don't want them to be able to do a Heimdall shift and just get an absurd amount of power into the Quantum Realm. So with the Time Stone, we are going to draw into Professor X, which is beautiful for us. Phenomenal value. I think they move most of their cards out of the Strange Academy. They do have initiative, though, which is the only scary thing. They could drop a card here, so maybe they play a card and then pull it with Ghost Spider, which does become a little scary. We're going to do it anyways. We do have Claw plus a potential Onslaught to dig into. Let's go ahead and snap into it. With the loot cage on the board, our Onslaught would stay 7, which would match their dagger. Anything else is going to be tough for them to reach into the Quantum Realm with very much power at all. They have the Vulture. They do go ahead and play Rocket Raccoon into mid. We lock in the Vulture. It's not going to move after next turn. We have the lead over in the right lane. And now all we have to do is kind of coast to victory. If they have like an Enchantress, that's scary for our Iron Man. Otherwise, it's going to get buffed up, but Onslaught won't get brought down. Besides Enchantress, I don't see a way to lose this one. The Rocket Raccoon is kind of confusing in a movement shell. I have no idea why that's why that's there. They do go with Doctor Strange into the left lane, so we're still susceptible to the Enchantress, unfortunately. I mean, I guess we could just do a Chavez over here, right? Like, I know the cool play is to do something big into Quantum Realm, but what if they do, for some reason, have an Enchantress? As is right now, this deck shouldn't run any way to buff cards. If I see a Mr. Fantastic come down, I think I will lose it. So this will bring us up to 12. We'll beat this left lane. We're ahead in the right lane. They could have a Jeff to tie this location, which would be wild. Could have it. If this is a Phoenix Force deck, they could potentially have that. In which case, the Onslaught here would have been the play. I'm going to go ahead and lock in the Chavez and see. Heimdall. Okay, no, that doesn't do it. Either way, we would have had it. It's so strange. That's like, I just played this in silver, and my silver match was the sweatiest match I have played this season. It was against a bounce deck, and I was running this one, and it was back and forth. It went down to the final 1 and 1 cube, and there were a couple of times where I got bad RNG outcomes, a couple of times where they got bad RNG outcomes, but it came down to 1 and 1 for that final deciding finisher, and then we get something like that where they stayed in what should have been an obvious retreat. I'm so confused by Matt here. Let's go ahead and play Mind Stone. We know kind of what they're running. We have Mind Stone to generate some additional draw. I think we're okay snapping now. Now that we know a little bit about what they're running, I doubt we see a Killmonger. I doubt we see any kind of heavy counters to what we run. And their deck is so confusing to me, though. There's movement pieces, but it's mixed in with a lot of non-movement pieces. If Nightcrawler moves, another conspiracy theory, I've mentioned it a couple of times, but another potential conspiracy theory. I swear I have fought bots in gold before. Like moving Nightcrawler on 1 into like an unknown location, or just doing plays that most humans don't do. I don't know. If we see Nightcrawler move on 1, like I'm convinced that Matt is a bot. You'll have to convince me in the comment section down below. They said there's no bots, but I swear I have fought against some. I swear. They don't. Okay, so they don't move the Nightcrawler. Maybe it's just. Maybe it just is what it is. I'm reading too much into it. Okay, maybe all the people telling me in the comment section that I'm reading too much into it. You may be right. Olympia gives us additional draw. Unfortunately, we still don't get a Professor X. We are going to have 2 more shots here. We have the Time Stone to draw into a card, and then we have our draw next turn. We're going to play Time Stone as if we're going to get the Professor X. If not, then we'll kind of dig from there. Maybe we get Iron Lad. And the thing with this Thanos list, the previous version really only got much power and did very many cool things whenever it had Professor X on the board, or whenever it had Lockjaw early. This one doesn't necessarily do that. And so sometimes you're going to surprise the opponent with the Lockjaw. Other times you're going to opt to not play it because you're going to want to use those stones early to generate additional draw. And so they did move their Nightcrawler on 2. I think they heard us talking about them being a bot, and so then they like said, "Oop, we gotta shift it up a little bit. We gotta keep it. We gotta keep them always guessing." So we have 5 energy here. They're not gonna have a counter. They're not gonna have a counter to our ongoings. They shouldn't. They might, but they shouldn't. Let's do a Devil Dino. We can do an Iron Man, and then we can do an Onslaught. That should be, I think, an easy win, unless they have a counter to those ongoing cards. No matter what kind of cards they run, unless they're running the Phoenix Force, which helps them elevate and have a higher power, I don't think they're going to be able to overcome this. We do get our Lockjaw. We could rotate the Jeff, but we have some potential, questionable outcomes. Let's go ahead and play the Iron Man. That's going to make this lane massive. And then Onslaught is going to help make sure our Devil Dino overcomes anything that they drop there. Maybe if it looks like they're playing away from Olympia, that is a movement deck's weakest lane. So maybe we do a claw in the left lane on the final turn. Could potentially be our path. And so Vulture and then Cloak into a capped out lane is another strange play. Guys, so strange. It's just strange. Let's go ahead and do the onslaught. I'm going to go all in this right lane. Because then Heimdall here, it pushes some of these over. We have an easy win in Nidavellir. It pushes some of the right lane over. We do get the retreat now. They didn't move Nightcrawler on 1, but I'm still not convinced. Matt, if you're out there, let me know in the comment section down below. I know that there has been said to not be bots, but I feel like at a certain point they're there. Let's go with the Soul Stone, generate some additional draw here. We do get our Professor X. So if we can get Time Stone to drop on 3, we're going to go with an easy Professor X lock, probably in mid. That way it breaks up the movement decks, just overall everything. Ego comes down.
And this is my domain.
And we have the Lockjaw, which is scary. At least Ego didn't play into Oscorp Tower. That's an added benefit. I'm going to snap into this. And so they do play into mid with a Craven. Black and white, buffed out Craven. Is that the base card? Base card doesn't look terrible. Project Pegasus is wild. Come on, Professor X somewhere. Okay, so I know previously in Oscorp Tower, if you played Professor X on turn 3, it would shift and it would still go over to the opponent's side. I know at one point they patched that and they fixed it, so it should stay. We should be fine in the left lane, unless of course they do any plays in the left lane, which they could do. They could also drop a Heimdall. They do a lot of plays in Oscorp Tower. My goodness. Heimdall is not great. Had we not Professor X locked, we would have gotten Heimdall, Multiple Man, and Craven, and had a huge benefit. That's unfortunate. Okay, we Lockjaw rotate the Mind Stone instead of capping out Ego. I like it so far. I like what I'm seeing. We have the Time Stone and the Reality Stone. We could potentially change Ego on 5, maybe. I don't think there's any salvaging it. If we do cap out this location, I don't think there's any salvaging at that point. Iron Fist and Nightcrawler comes down, buffing up Craven. Time Stone, okay. Reality Stone, okay. Could be worse. Could be a lot worse. I honestly think we might be okay. Oddly enough. On the last turn, we can lean into like an Onslaught, which would double the negative affliction of Soulstone, or depending on what we have left, we could try to do an Iron Lad. I think actually a Thanos is going to be 20 power because we have the Power Stone on the board. I think we're perfectly fine here. Let's go with the double rotation in this lane. Doctor Strange doesn't do anything for him. Ego can't... Oh, actually, we don't get to choose. I don't know why I thought we were going to get to choose what we got to do on the last turn. It's up to Ego. Come on, Ego. Don't do us dirty. Sinister London is crazy for him. Don't... You better not drop that Mind Stone into... Okay. Okay. I can handle that. That is not a terrible play. However, Mind Stone into Ego would have been awful. We will take this. See if we finish this first round against Matt. If not, we're going to go down 4. The Vulture, not big enough. Nakia, again, not many people run Nakia. Just a humble snap fan. We're going to go ahead and take the first round victory in 3, or the first match victory in 3 rounds. I feel like we didn't really get to flex this deck at all. It just kind of went through the paces. So we're going to jump into battle number 2 and see if we can continue to hold down this gold run. All right, jumping straight into battle number 2 for the gold conquest run. Let's see if we can hold this thing down. All right, next up we have Blanka is technically not Tarzan. They are sporting an infinite border avatar for last season's exclusive avatar. This one is going to be a tougher battle. I can feel it. Let's go with the Mind Stone. That will give us some good draw early. We do have the Power Stone. We're going to be able to do a couple of our stones next turn if we get the Time Stone perfect. Again, similar to last game, I don't want to snap here. I do, but and I don't. I want to play it a little bit slower and make sure what we're facing up against before we snap into it. And so the good thing here is we're going to be able to pressure the board without really giving them any information until around turn 4. And that is where we're going to start slapping some pretty impactful plays down in the process. And so we can still have power on the board and not show them anything about our deck other than it being a Thanos deck. And so they do play Medusa. So this has to be a bounce deck, right? Bounce is very, very common. Now this could be an on reveal, something that uses Black Panther, Medusa, like an Electro ramp. But I think it's much more likely that this is going to be bounce. Medusa has found its way. There's a few people that really seeing Medusa's praises in the bounce archetype. Sometimes it can absolutely pop off. If you play it twice, that's just a huge value card in mid that you otherwise wouldn't have. And so we are going to change the right location. We changed it into the hub, so we're actually not going to get our natural draw here, unfortunately. They use Storm, so this is definitely not bounce. With the Storm coming down, it could still be the Electro ramp. We don't know for sure, though. We have Claw in our deck somewhere. I almost want to play away from this location, but we're gonna play our Iron Lad there. We have Mr. Fantastic now to reach plus the Onslaught. That might be enough of a surprise factor. If we can get a Professor X lock, then we don't have to worry about the Arnim Zola play. I think we're okay. They could have a Juggernaut. Following up a Storm with the Juggernaut's always pretty solid. Maybe if we get Professor X, we can't go anywhere. No, okay. So that we do get Jeff. So they do have the Juggernaut. We get Jeff, so we can always move our Iron Lad, our Iron Chad, straight back in that direction. They have Nova. Interesting deck, my friend. So maybe a control heavy deck. I expect Shang-Chi, maybe an Enchantress, which is a little scary. I'll be honest. It's a little bit scary. We can go Blue Marvel in the left lane as bait. We keep Iron Lad here for now, because we can always move him over to the right lane. Fantastic. We can move him over to the left. Also fantastic. Now, actually, could be Silver Surfer, looking at it. The Nova, the Juggernaut, the Storm, all say Silver Surfer. The Medusa is the only thing that doesn't, and sometimes that's a Goose. Sometimes that's another 2 cost, but Medusa would make some sense in a Silver Surfer. So we have to look out for Killmonger. We have to look out for Shadow King. There's the players. We also have to look out for Cosmo. Cosmo is the one that was eluding me. They do play Goose. They move our Mind Stone over. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. They play Goose here, so Killmonger is going to wipe this lane out entirely. This is only going to be 7. We don't worry so... A potential Rogue is still a concern, but not so much the Enchantress now. We move this over. They do Killmonger and Silver Surfer. That's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is 7. This is 12, as is. It's not terrible, right? We can slap an Onslaught on it. We could do Thanos as just a big power play. If they hit us with a Rogue, maybe they hit our Onslaught instead of Blue Marvel. That would be the thing that sends us, though. So maybe we do this. This isn't the worst thing in the world. Yeah, it is. This is awful. That would be relying on them doing the Rogue. I'm going to go against my gut. We are going to do the Onslaught on the left and see how it goes. We're moving Iron Lad over to the right. Iron Heart. Okay. And then Silver Surfer. Killmonger. Okay, that should be fine. With the boost from the Blue Marvel Onslaught, I think that should be fine for us. They go up to 11. No, not quite 11, because the Silver Surfer was not factored in there. They go to 9. We go to 12. We are perfectly fine. Grabbing the 4 cubes early. They took a big risk staying in that one for 4. And so we're going to go ahead and jump into the next battle. Maybe they forgot that our Iron Lad was Jeff. Maybe they forgot he could move. Ooh, we get Mind Stone, Soul Stone, and a Lockjaw here. This is a beautiful high roll setup. So Los Diablos base will destroy one of the locations on 3. So if they're going to storm a lane, it's going to be here. I almost want to use Mind Stone into one of the other lanes. We'll snap into it. Mind Stone will generate 2 stones. We're hoping for the Time Stone, and this is one of those rare scenarios where we're not planning to drop Time Stone on 3 to cheat out a Professor X or a 5 cost. We can use it on 2 to cheat out Lockjaw plus a stone rotation, but we don't get it. Oh well, that's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. Ant Maze is interesting. We get all of the stones except for the Time Stone here. Let's go with Soul Stone, move, and then Reality Stone. We could save the Reality Stone for them to use a Storm, but I want to take away their movement bonus. We will keep the movement bonus in our Soul Stone. They will lose it because of the Reality Stone and us having initiative or priority. Sanctum Sanctorum. It's interesting. It's not good, but it's interesting. We do have Claw, which is actually fantastic for us. Los Diablos base may destroy this. They may also still storm into the Los Diablos base. And if they do, we will have initiative left and right. So we'll be able to rotate without any worry of it hitting a Juggernaut. Let's go Lockjaw. Ooh, they skip on 3. Interesting. Okay, and the middle is open back up, so we don't have to rely on Claw anymore. Let's do our Time Stone. We'll go ahead and play our Power Stone. And we'll do a Space Stone. We can choose to move Lockjaw next turn or not. And I don't really want to conserve these. Going into turn 5, it's going to be much more likely that we do either an Onslaught or our Devil Dino or something of value or merit rather than doing an additional rotation. But without having the stones, we could rotate into Professor X. We could rotate into Thanos, Blue Marvel, a lot of really high roll good cards. Blue Marvel it is. And so we could move the Lockjaw now to be able to place our Onslaught into the Blue Marvel lane. We still don't know if they're running a Rogue or not. They do have the Killmonger though for sure. And so they wipe away a lot of what we had on the board. That should be fine. That should be okay, right? Professor X now is big. If they go just Sarah, then we're fine. We could also do move into an Onslaught. On the last turn, we can do a rotation with our Jeff and an Iron Lad, maybe? Actually, we could do that this turn, right? I guess it doesn't. A rotation's actually not fantastic for us. We do this. It's not fantastic. It's not great. Ooh, the Spider-Man lock. Turns out we were right. I went back and forth on that so many times. And so the Nova wouldn't be able to reach up here. I don't think they run a Jeff. So we did get the upside there. Rotating here isn't phenomenal, but it's not terrible either. I honestly think we might just do like a Devil Dino. Only 15. 15 is more than none. If they do a Silver Surfer, I think they probably stack into Los Diablos base. Let's do the Devil Dino and hope that they stack over into the left lane, hoping that we stack in the left lane. Shadow King, fine. Silver Surfer bumps up mid by 2. We do still hold down that middle location. What a weird game so far. That one was full of a lot of second guesses. A lot of probably suboptimal play, but with Thanos, there's so many avenues that you can take it in that it's hard to get a very specific read on knowing which direction you should go. It really comes down to like a gut feel and what you think the opponent's going to do. And so Blanka did end up retreating, probably because I was going back and forth so many times on trying to make a decision, but we are able to hold down the second victory in gold for that potential infinite ticket. That is going to be battle number 2 done and dusted. We will jump into battle number 3, see if we can grab another infinity ticket. All right, jumping into battle number 3, let's go ahead and queue it up with the high roll Thanos, the Lockjaw Thanos. So glad it's back. All right, next up we have Enedeus. They snap on turn 1. What could they be running that they snap on turn 1? I don't know. I do not know, but we do have Lockjaw. We have a Time Stone for 2 to cheat out a rotation on 3. That is going to be enough for me to snap back into it. We're going to be going for 4 very early on here. Very early on. And I'm here for it. Let's see if we can hold this one down. If we can get this one or force a retreat, then we can get a big early lead. Whoa, deep space is unfortunate at greatly restricting our ability to play. If this is a bounce deck, no armor. Okay, interesting armor. This is not a bounce deck. Maybe a Shuri. If this is a Shuri deck, this location was beautifully targeted. And then, oh, these Shadow Ninja. Just, oh man. I don't even know what to do with myself. Okay, I'm gonna do a Lockjaw and a rotation. This is probably gonna be a retreat. The only little bit of like extra benefit that we have is we can do Blue Marvel into Onslaught for like the slightest little bit of advantage, but most likely, oh, it is a Sauron, so like a Shuri Sauron deck. So they're gonna get a lot of value in deep space, unfortunately. We rotate into Jeff. Okay, not bad. That Jeff rotation was clutch. Let's go ahead and go Iron Lad. If we can get Claw, then we can do like a Claw into an Onslaught and just have a big burst of power in these two lanes, making it hard to match. The Jeff was so fortunate. They do have a space for their Shuri, but they don't. I mean, I guess they do for the Taskmaster as well. Shuri, Red Skull, Taskmaster would be pretty big. Unless we can get a Professor X rotation, or just a Professor X draw as well. Or Iron Lad just pulls into Professor X. It's a 1 out of 10. It's a 10% chance. Whoa, they cap out that right lane. Interesting. And we hit the Power Stone. Oy. Not what we wanted to hit there. So Blue Marvel, Power Stone rotation maybe? I don't know. The Onslaught does help us elevate this lane or the Blue Marvel plus an Onslaught helps us elevate this lane quite a bit, but I don't know that it is enough. I don't know that that's going to be enough. They could have Ebony Maw as a huge tool. So Onslaught here brings us up another 4, but it's still not enough in this lane. What an unfortunate set of locations. Very beautiful for them. It was very fortunate locations for our opponent, unfortunately. We're gonna have to back out of that one. I can't. Professor X could have held it down in the left lane, forcing them to like really decide where to put their power. Fortunately, we just weren't able to get it. So we're going to go down 4 early. We had a dream. We had a dream of just blasting through this third battle. But these locations, deep space, mind you, did come up after we snapped on turn 1. And then Shadowland really restricted our rotation space. We'll get them next time. Knowing how quickly they snapped last time, I think they probably snapped really early here. So like turn 1, turn 2. Shadowland again. What? All right. We get Shadowland, as long as we don't get another deep space and just all kinds of... Nowhere's a little difficult. It's not the worst, but it is a little bit difficult. They won't be able to do a Shuri into a Taskmaster here, so this lane becomes somewhat manageable. And then they do snap and play it aggressively. I can't blame them. They are ahead. They're really putting the pressure on. Wow. These are some garbage locations. These are some garbage locations. If we Professor X into Clintar, it doesn't work. Like it just doesn't function that way. I'm gonna do Lockjaw in the left lane. We have a hope. We have a dream of a Space Throne rotation into something beautiful. I don't know. We could also do Iron Lad here, like Iron Lad into this right lane to potentially hit like some kind of stone. I don't know. We're gonna rotate the Space Stone though. They did get Sauron. Yeah, okay. And then armor, not bad. Space Stone. We pull out Luke Cage. Iron Lad would have been terrible. Into a Claw. Claw is doable. It's still very low power here. Let's go ahead and Professor X lock middle. That may not be the right call. As much as I want a Professor X lock, and restrict them from doing their big, powerful things, I think a Devil Dino is going to be better. More power here, giving us some flexibility to do like a Thanos in the right lane. Maybe we can do like a Blue Marvel and a Reality Stone somewhere. We're going to Devil Dino in mid. This one's unfortunate. I think they probably Red Skull mid. Yeah, so just the Professor X would have been a very tough sell or a very tough win. So now they're going to have to split their power. A Taskmaster, in whatever lane they decide to do it in, is big. Is it going to be big enough? And what lane do they do it in? We can do Iron Lad. Potentially hit an Iron Man. Potentially hit an Onslaught. Soulstone would be fantastic. Anything else is just forcing the tie here. And so then it would come down to if we get something big in this lane. I don't know. We're going to send it. We're already down a lot of cubes. They do play for the right and the left. Oh no, the Taskmaster and then the Ebony Maw over here. We get the Onslaught over in this lane, which is unfortunate. Danger Room? Danger Room could come in clutch for us. We draw out the Onslaught. We flip into Soulstone, not big, but if this is Taskmaster and it gets destroyed by the 25% chance, we have a chance to live here. If not, okay, we don't. We don't. Okay, we got a little excited. We had a chance. We had a 25% chance there, and we don't always get the lucky flip. This is not looking good. The biggest thing with a Shuri Taskmaster deck is it can do a lot of big things, but it's very weak to like a Shang-Chi style of deck. And unfortunately, we don't have a Shang-Chi style of deck here. And they are playing it very aggressively. I would expect nothing less at this point. They got the early 4, they got the second 4. Might as well make us fully commit to this. I'm going to go ahead and play the Soulstone. We need to get cards early. We need to draw, get a little bit lucky. A Professor X in the Rickety Bridge would be phenomenal. It would go a really long way in helping us hold this one down. If not, this is going to be the end of an era, the end of our run, because they can just go taller than us a lot of the time. Now, a Shang-Chi does make this, their high roll very, very lackluster, because then anywhere they play is going to be just like, it's gonna be hard to rely on that power. And I've noticed that with a Shuri Taskmaster deck, you typically play it very aggressively. Ooh, they have armor in the Rickety Bridge, so that's not going to be an issue anymore. And we didn't have a turn 2 play, which feels awful. Lockjaw and rotate and pray. They have armor over here, so this would be their initial like big power play location. Let's go Lockjaw. We have a Lockjaw and a prayer. The zero and okay, 0 Titania. We haven't seen those early game cards up until this point, which is kind of wild. Monster Island is big. We can pull out all of the rest of our stones. Also fantastic, because that elevates our chance of getting a good outcome here dramatically. We can then do both. I think we do both Time Stone. I don't think we even... Do we hold the Power Stone? No. No, we don't need to hold the Power Stone because we are going to draw into the Reality Stone and Space Stone on this following turn. So let's go ahead and lock this in. As if we were gambling our life here, it's not a bad way to gamble it. Mind Stone goes back in, but Chavez comes out. We get Luke Cage. None of those are guaranteed lock, though, my friends. Like we need some guarantees. I think we just lose to the Taskmaster play, which I'm sure that they have, but I do think we lose to the Taskmaster play. Devil Dino is going to be one of our biggest resources. No sign of Iron Man, unfortunately, so we do go with the Space Stone. Draw an additional card, keep Devil Dino big. We can also maneuver a card here. So maybe we maneuver the Devil Dino. Devil Dino and Onslaught? It's actually, that's pretty bad. If we were ahead here already, it wouldn't be that bad. But we are. so it is. Iron Man is a potential rotation tool. Iron Lad is another one. Professor X. Is there a way to push over 28 power in these two lanes? We already have a pretty sizable lead here. We have a sizable lead here. So maybe we just go with the mid-range. Reality Stone, I don't know. This is going to be our weaker of the lanes, especially with the Soul Stone. It's a read. It's a read, but we're just going to go Onslaught in the right lane and call it good. I think their Taskmaster, their Ebony Maw, stacks over here, and that is what we're going to read on. No way. We are alive. We are still alive here. The Onslaught was a very, very tough call. But we found it in the end. All right, let's jump into the next battle. That's that's 1 of 5 that we would have to get back to back to back to back. And yeah, I'm doubtful. I am doubtful here, bro. I'm doubtful. Cards here with the highest power have their power doubled. That is scary for Red Skull, for a Shuri Red Skull into a Taskmaster somewhere else. Super scary. We are going to want to try to get a Professor X down on 4 before they get any of their high power. They do have the Shuri, so we are terrified here. Terrified. I'm not going to play Time Stone, though, because that is going to be our only way to stop them from getting a double-powered whatever in the throne room. We are just going to have to hope for the... We have 2 chances. The 2 out of 12. So 1 out of 6 chance of a Professor X. Here, not so much. Not so much so far. Let's go Time Stone. We're going to go Luke Cage. And again, we are simply coming down to a prayer that Time Stone draws into Professor X, and we can play it into Throne Room. It's such a tough one. That is Claw. That is not what we needed. Now it'll need to be the top deck of the Claw. We have, what, a 1 out of 10. 10% chance that we're still alive. Ooh, Shuri gets pulled into Sakaar. Instead of them being able to place it into the Throne Room, we do not get what we need over here, unfortunately. That's tough. This is rough. I think we go Iron Man. We need to go tall in Sakaar. Because I think they play their... Ooh, they skip. Okay, they're going to have to play their next card here. If we can lock in Throne Room before they do that, Onslaught. No, that's not what we need. Oh, no. Devil Dino over here could have potentially been decent. We needed... we needed the Professor X. All right, let's go Claw or Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel, I think, is probably fine. I wouldn't say it was marvelous, but it's fine nonetheless. I'm doubtful here. I am doubtful. They haven't snapped, though, so we can actually retreat. These are still the single stakes rounds. Interesting. Yeah, I think they realized at about the same time I did that they that they hadn't snapped yet. We're going to go down to 1 cube. I would rather do that. So we didn't have to do the 5 back to back to back. We have a brief intermission in between the 2. But them having the big movable vision, I can't see it. I imagine this last card that they have is Chavez. And it seems like anytime I'm not running a Shang-Chi for that potential big play counter is when I get punished super hard by not having it. So Time Stone could bring us up quite a bit. We are going to need a double... I think a double Professor X would be the best thing we could get. We could also have something like our Devil Dino or Iron Man plus the Onslaught. Could be big, but I'm going to look for the double Time Stone on turn number 2 to give us that additional reach. So Soul Stone and Time Stone here is going to bring us up to 5 next turn. We're going to draw through 4 of our cards. We have a shot. It's not perfect, but it's a decent shot. If we can get a Professor X lock, I don't think we've even been able to show them that we have Professor X yet. If we can get a Professor X lock, then that is going to really restrict. That's before they can do any of their big plays or before any of those big plays come down. And so we have initiative coming into this turn. We also have Jeff somewhere buried in our deck. We have 5 energy. We're going to Professor X lock Sinister London, and I think that should be a done deal. It's going to go off twice. The most they could do would be what their Ebony Maw. Not even a Shuri yet. They could do Lizard. They could do Sauron. But I doubt they do much else. So the double Professor X lock is going to come down. And yeah, we get the retreat. So that is one more small break in the armor. It's going to take a monumental climb here. and it's dark, so we're super light. I'm going to turn down the lighting. It's going to take a monumental climb here. Maybe we can do it. Onslaught Citadel is a good start. Having a Blue Marvel, an Onslaught, a Devil Dino is going to make us very tough. Even a Claw is going to make us very tough in the Onslaught Citadel location. They don't have any strong ongoings, so that is going to be a purely us location. I'm going to use Reality Stone in the right lane on turn 1. It's always a little bit scary. Reality Stone is super sketchy, but it is what it is. We get Dream Dimension. Quantum Tunnel is huge. Okay, we're going to go to the RNG Casino here. Let's play the Mind Stone. We'll pull out 2 of our stones. Maybe we get Professor X Lock. And then it just comes down to Iron Man, Onslaught, maybe a couple of other cards supporting in that Onslaught Citadel lane. So Soul Stone would be big. Okay, Chavez, fine. We're going to go full rotation here. Like we have no reason not to go full rotation here. Let's go Power Stone. Let's go Time Stone. That will draw an additional card. We'll have 5 energy on turn 4. Beautiful locations for us so far. If we're trying to make a comeback here, these locations are doing us wonders, because this deck typically doesn't want to do a high variance, a high turnover play, and Onslaught Citadel is also pretty rough for them. And Dream Dimension is pretty rough for their deck as well. They would have to rely on like a Shuri into a Typhoid Mary instead of their higher like Vision Red Skull, and so we get some benefit there. Okay, Jeff. Jeff isn't bad. Time Stone will draw us a card. Luke Cage and Space Stone, my goodness. And then there's the Professor X. The Professor X on 4 is going to be big. It's going to be brutal. They're not going to be able to do anything against it, because now we can do Iron Man Onslaught, I think is our play. Devil Dino Onslaught may be bigger. And we can always move Jeff over there, which I think would be like that added little benefit that we probably need. Let's go with the Professor X Lock. They go Shuri in the left lane. Perfectly fine. They have gotten the Sauron down, so they could just double stack in that left lane. And that would be pretty... Ooh, wait. I forgot about this guy. Oh, no. I forgot about Dream Dimension coming in to crush our hopes and dreams. The Dream Crusher. Dream Crusher 5000. Lockjaw? Lockjaw act like we're gonna go to the roulette, and then we do Devil Dino and a Soul Stone in the left lane. That's what we're gonna hope for. Typhoid Mary, okay. And it has had its abilities removed. And so now... Oh, did I call it, you guys? Did I call it? All right, let's do the Devil Dino. That's gonna be a really big Devil Dino. At least we're tied here. So Taskmaster would be another 20. This is going to be 6 times 2, 12, so 24, 25, 26, 27. That's actually not all that impressive. If they get the gut read that we're going into Onslaught Citadel. And I don't know. They have been a very heads-up player. I almost want to play it into the Dream Dimension instead. We're going to play both into the Dream Dimension. It's a gut read. This is -8, but if they do their Taskmaster over there, that is huge. This is a gut read, but we're going with our gut on this one. Soulstone rotation into Thanos into the Devil Dino play. No, they didn't. They didn't stack into that right location. No. Can we potentially overcome that whenever we flip into Iron Lad? Iron Lad is big. Into the Time Stone to make sure that our hand is capped. Not bad. Into the Devil Dino. Does that beat that right lane? It does. That was so stressful. I can't. I was 1000% sure that they would play heads up and they would stack over here. I was 1000% sure. So that took a lot of luck. We will take luck sometimes. We need 2 more just like that to be able to bring this thing back. Chip away at it bit by bit. And this is a fantastic way to start. Onslaught Citadel is also a fantastic way to start. The Mind Stone into the Time Stone next turn into the rotation early. This could be bringing us back to a 1-game deciding factor here. Kunlun, not huge for either of us. Let's go Time Stone. I'm also going to go Soul Stone early into Onslaught Citadel. Next turn on turn 3, we can do Lockjaw plus Space Stone. I'm sketched out by the Reality Stone unless I have to play it. And so that's what we're going to do. Time Stone. They haven't played it. Ooh. Professor X would have been big to do an early lock, but we can still do a lock 1/5 in Kunlun if we need to. I don't know that we'll even need to. Necrocia's big, but we do have, or bad, but we do have Loot Cage to slot there eventually. Or we can change it with the Reality Stone. Let's go Lockjaw, Space Stone in Kunlun. And then we'll see. We'll see. I think we are still in this one. Surprisingly. Beyond all reasons of a doubt, we are still in this one for now. The Space Stone comes down. We get Iron Lad. The Iron Chat into Iron Man is massive. Such a massive flip here. The Jeff is big. Let's go. I almost want to do Iron Lad, like into the left lane. And leave this one for now. I mean, we could always move a Mind Stone over into a Professor X lock 1/5. Could be the potential play. Blue Marvel becomes really big in Onslaught Citadel. Second guessing everything we do here. Let's go with the Iron Chad. He's not going to let us down at all. He's going to be Claw or Onslaught. Thanos is big too, especially if we get through the rest of our stones. Big. This has had the ongoing removed, unfortunately, but it's fine. Let's go Professor X lock into mid. Is scary, but it's definitely a scary one. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, they played into Necrocia, perfectly fine. That goes down to 6. We lock in the middle location. They don't have anything big, anything massive, unless they have a Shang-Chi just to surprise us with, which would be wild. Mind you, that would be the wildest thing I have seen in a long time. Red Skull is going to be the best thing they can do here, and ooh, we don't want to Reality Stone it. And we can just do this. Now, a surprise Shang-Chi that they've hidden for 7 rounds now would be... No, they haven't. They have initiative. We're fine. We're perfectly fine. I don't see a way that we lose this round. Having the Professor X lock in Kunlun, we are going to go down to the final game-deciding round 8. We should, unless something happens that I am not anticipating here. That is a lot of cards, my friend. The Ebony Maw, the Zero coming down, the Titania, and then the armor in the left lane. Not going to be enough for the massive Devil Dino. We will change the right lane, but that's not going to change anything. We draw an extra card. Devil Dino is huge. We are going down to the final round. They have to be a little bit discouraged by this point. Hopefully we can use that, and hopefully we get some misplays from them. We have a chance, you guys. I counted myself out. Once we lost those first 2 rounds, I counted myself out early. But here we are into the final. This is it. This is for this is for the deciding factor. Sakaar is kind of wild. Let's go ahead and Reality Stone the right lane. Sakaar pulling into Claw or Onslaught is so much value for us. Okay, so Fisk Tower, Claw is beautiful. So that gives us an extra 10 power on the board, and they get an extra 5 out of it. Now, with them getting, I guess maybe Enchantress could be in their deck. If so, they have hidden it for a very long time. Mind Stone, Soul Stone. Mind Stone, Soul Stone. We're gonna get a Time Stone here. We're gonna use Time Stone next turn. We're gonna drop a Professor X to hold down Mojo World and lock in the 100-point lead there. Lockjaw is also pretty big. Let's do Time Stone. And we'll go ahead and throw Loot Cage into Fisk Tower. That'll give us some reach on this last turn. We're really hoping for Professor X. I guess it's a 2 out of 6. 2 out of 6 chance that we pull into the Professor X. That's Jeff. Not what we were looking for. Sauron comes down. Professor X for the win. This has been a grueling battle, but this just made it much more manageable. Let's drop the Professor X. I don't think there's any way they flood this location big enough to cap it out. And so any kind of tiebreaker, any kind of anything, we're going to have Mojo World in our pocket. Now, an Iron Man would be massive. Iron Man into Onslaught is going to be almost unbeatable. They do get Shuri into Fisk Tower. Blue Marvel, I don't know if Blue Marvel is enough. Now we could do Lockjaw. And we don't, I mean, we could do Lockjaw. It's really going to restrict how much we can do, though. I mean, maybe we get Thanos. Or maybe we get the Power Stone. Maybe we get Iron Lad that counts as the Power Stone. I don't know that the Blue Marvel and Onslaught play would be enough. I feel like we need a bigger... I feel like we need a bigger play. But after the Jeff rotation, this also takes this to a casino. We're going to go to the casino. When in doubt, Lockjaw casino it out. Goodbye, Jeff. Hello, Iron Man? Devil Dino. We can work with a Devil Dino. We still... Oh, okay. We still have Iron Man. We still have Iron Lad in our deck. Let's go Blue Marvel, because we will rotate, so Onslaught's not quite as, like, straight away easy to read win condition as we would want. Blue Marvel and Space Stone. Space Stone flipping into Iron Man should give us the win. Iron Lad has a chance as well. It all comes down to this last play. I guess if they don't have a Taskmaster, Sakaar's also kind of tough to win. The double drop. Okay, so is that Ebony Maw plus the Taskmaster? Space Stone into... Okay, we pull out Jeff. That's good. Into the Iron Man. Into the Power Stone. That is not what we needed. Taskmaster. Ah, man. You know, that stings a little. Stings just a little. Oh, man. Oh, man. That was an uphill battle the whole way. We trudged and we trekked and we climbed and we lost. We lost in round number 8 when everything was on the line. We went casino, and we had some really good chance. Once Jeff pulled, we had a 66% chance to pull into either Iron Man or Iron Lad. Both would have been a little bit more power, but we needed the Iron Man to be able to come over the top. So if Iron Lad had pulled and then went to Power Stone, wouldn't quite have been enough. Iron Lad into the Iron Man would have been phenomenal. But I hope that you guys enjoyed it. It was a beautiful battle from our opponent. We're gonna watch the Infinity Ticket go into the hands of another. We're gonna see the Conquest incomplete screen, and we will move on to fight another day. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and a comment down below. And as always, this has been TLSG. Later, guys.